All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Nick Marro here with Jayhawk, as always, helping you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Just like we had on opening night, Nick at night here, the two Nicks, myself and Jayhawk, and we are breaking down another two-game slate. What else is in common with that first slate? We also have the OKC Thunder here yet again. Some news we're going to be working through for them. But yeah, appreciate everyone being here. Jayhawk, as I kind of pull some of these comments up on the screen, feel free to just kind of give me your lay of the land on the slate and how the season's been going for you so far.
Yeah, man, just a quick recap from yesterday. Huge 1B game. Pretty good slate overall. Feel like we nailed most of the plays here as a crew at Occupy. And then today, man, obviously OKC highlights the page here. So excited to talk this down with you per usual.
Yeah, shouts out Brian, Bab, a couple regulars. Brian, should we lock in Terry Rozier tonight or not? He's saying, what's up? Appreciate you. David, always great to have you around, man. Let's get through these comments. We got some time. Luke here as well. Hey. Heard Lisa Ann was going to be on here tonight. That's a question for Jayhawk. Swerve, always appreciate you, my man. Our third Nick here, Nick B. Base Bass. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another comment from Brian C. about Lisa Ann. I'm missing something there, Jayhawk. Any hot takes on Lisa Ann? I don't think she's on this slate, unfortunately.
Did Lisa Ann get arrested too this morning?
Did she? I mean,
I don't know.
The NBA news was she at the poker games with Billups? I don't know. Shouts out Ali, Eagles 1985, Unicorn as always, LJ, Jose here. And yeah, Terry's already locked up, so you don't have to lock him in per Jose. Love that. Am I in 2005? I'm in NBA 2K 2005 with this background, man. I just pulled it off of Google. LJ Love and Nemhard, we're about to talk about that. Power here, as always. Appreciate you too, my man. So let's get into it, guys. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We only have two games, so you can go ahead and get your questions in. I'm sure we can get to almost everyone, if not everyone. Last time we had a really good first slate. I actually placed top 10 in one of my single entries. It was like 10 points out of first, but I did end up jamming, interestingly enough, SGA with Luka on that slate. Last night, we did see a lot of the expensive plays going off. I think stars and scrubs earlier in the season, when a lot of these value guys may have bigger roles than we think might be the way to go. Tonight, we do have some serious pay-ups to talk about, though, in SGA and Jokic. For those who were playing season-long or best ball, Jokic, the number one pick everywhere. Absolute beast in terms of his fantasy production. No surprise at all there. SGA, as he does, kind of took a little while to get going that game. But, yeah, I mean, it is a conversation. Which of these two we're jamming in? Can we fit them both? But let's do what we always do, kind of go team by team, game by game. And let's start with the Thunder here because we do have a lot of injury news to kind of talk through. Alex Caruso has been ruled out. Lou Dort was questionable. He's going to be available. No Isaiah Joe, Sorber, Topic. Kaysen Wallace is another notable one who's going to be out that was available in that first game. Then no Jalen Williams. Jalen with no I with the E is going to be out. Kenrich Williams out as well. Not that he's going to be a major part of this rotation. But yeah, let's get into this, man. I mean, first and foremost, I guess we should probably talk about what we think the starting lineup is going to look like. I think we see Wiggins, Dort, Chet. I mean, it's not really shocking. AJ Mitchell did come off the bench in that first game, looked pretty good in limited minutes. I think he's going to get some extra run here. Wiggins, who I was very high on, his minutes were kind of capped around 20. Didn't shoot the ball all that well. Wasn't really doing much when he was on the floor, but we have to think we see an increased role for him tonight. But yeah, man, give me your kind of overview of OKC. And I mean, I'm really ripping through these guys, but we had Chet Holmgren too, right? He looked amazing in that first half, pretty much barely made value even with OT, which was kind of funny how he did the opposite of what SGA did. But I like SGA. Don't think I like him as much as Joker, but I will say it's tough to fit these kind of mid-range guys like Chet tonight if we are looking to go paying up for the likes of Jokic and SGA. But again, I'm rambling here. Jayhawk, take over. Smooth me out. Who are you liking here from OKC?
Yeah, man. I'm right with you. I think Jokic point per dollar, probably the preferred stud play between him and SGA. But regardless, SGA looks great here. Obviously, great pace-up matchup here against the Pacers. So if you can get up to SGA, I do love him at his price point. And then in terms of the value here, I'm with you. I think it's Wiggins number one for me. My favorite OKC value here. Pretty chalky, but projected 30 minutes. I think he looks great. And then AJ Mitchell, man, I agree. 40% owned. I think he's way too cheap as well. So those are kind of my three favorites here from OKC.
Yeah, I'm pulling some of these comments up on the screen because a lot of you guys are on the same page. A lot of shouts for AJ Mitchell. I'm with Jayhawk though. I do slightly prefer Wiggins. Let me say this: both are going to be in most of my lineups. Here's the thing: Wiggins is getting the start. We have him for 30 minutes, just under 30 minutes at 29. Mitchell, we have at 26. I think the minutes for Wiggins are a bit more secure. I think he's more likely to close. If this game is close, we probably see the starting lineup as the closing lineup, in which case Mitchell would not be on the floor. So just keep that in mind. But again, I think you could easily fit both. Given Dort's inconsistencies on offense, I think he's kind of third in line for me. He was also questionable coming into today, so maybe he's playing a little bit banged up. But yeah, I would rank Wiggins 1, Mitchell 2, Dort 3 for the value. Are you on the same page as me, Jack?
Yeah, 100%. I think Dort definitely the riskiest of the bunch there.
Yeah, and I do want to bring up Hartenstein. He looked pretty good in that game. I was pretty high on him against Houston, but it's tricky tonight, right? We only have the one center spot over on FanDuel, but I will say his price is wrong over there. I wish we had power forward eligibility, but 5,700 for him is definitely too cheap. And your lineups where you're getting SGA, maybe you're, I don't know, going to Curry, something like that, getting Chet in there. I don't know. Maybe use Hartenstein as a way to kind of unlock that. Obviously, it's terrifying not playing Joker on a 2-game slate, but if he doesn't hit his ceiling, I do think Hartenstein's very likely to be the optimal center play. On DK, you can play them both, obviously, with the two centers. But any of these secondary, I don't even want to call them secondary. It's like third-tier plays, right? We got guys like Brooks Barnhizer, Jalen Williams with the eye, Chris Youngblood, another one, good name from him there, but I don't know that we see a ton of minutes out of them. We do have Williams for 17. But again, center only on DK. On FanDuel, I actually have a little bit of interest where he's only 3,700. But are any of these kind of third tier names for OKC ringing any bells for you?
Yeah, so first of all, I love that shot in Hardenstein, particularly on FanDuel. Too cheap over there. On DraftKings, at my initial 20 set, I'm not getting as much Hardenstein as I did the first slate of the year. I think it's just because, like you mentioned, Jokic, we have a bunch of good value centers, or decent ones, in this other game as well. So I think for me, Hardenstein is solid, better on FanDuel. And then I do like the Barnsheiser call as well. Between him and Williams, it's tough. I think I'd probably lean Williams, but I think they're both great to take stabs at here at their ownerships.
Yeah, we got a question about Ray J. Davis. Is he even on the roster right now? Do you know? He's not in the injury report. He's not in the model. He's not in the projected lineup I'm seeing.
I can double check. I don't
even know what the hell team he's on, if I'm being 100% honest. This
he was
is
on
not
the
a guy.
He was on the Clippers. I don't know if he's there anymore.
Yeah. So Justin, I don't know. I got a few monitors going. I could pull it up on another screen. Is he on the Pels? Indiana. Okay, so he's still on the Pacers. Let's use that as a segue. And of all the segues to go to the Pacers, I did not think it would be Ray J. Davis here. But we have no Tyrese Halliburton tonight, no TJ McConnell either. So they are very thin at guard. So there is a world, I guess, where you might think he could be viable. He's on a 2-way contract. The Noblesville Boom is their G League team. I don't know he's up with the roster right. Excuse me. I don't know if he's up with the roster right now, though. So I would proceed with caution on that. When we're talking about who we're going to see as the starting lineup here again with these guards out, it's going to be Nembhard, probably Mathurin. I'm pretty confident in that. And then off the bench, we're going to see some Shepherd, maybe a little bit of Furphy. I think all these guys are on the depth chart ahead of Ray J. If you do find out Ray J's with the team, 2-game slate, you're playing Showdown or a super large field contest, I don't think it's insane. I just think we have enough other value tonight that it's probably not necessary. And again, I do think he's probably down with the G League team. I don't even know if that season has started yet. But yeah, more than anything, Siakam here. We also have to keep in mind Miles Turner is now with the Bucks, so we're going to see some changes in the front court as well. I'm seeing Isaiah Jackson projected as the starting center on some sites. Other sites have Jay Huff. I think it's kind of tough to pick between the two in terms of what we're going to expect here. I do think Jackson's the better player with the higher ceiling, but the model does rate Huff as the better value play. He is going to be a little bit cheaper. We're projecting him for fewer minutes. But again, on a 2-game slate, we have to talk about these gross plays, right? The other night, I was really high on Gary Payton. He was in my lineup. Didn't do great, but he did unlock the ability for me to get to both SGA and Luka in one of my builds, and that was the best lineup I had. Tonight, maybe a play like Jay Huff can do that for you. So I don't want to completely write him off. In the same breath, I mean, OKC's big. I do think we could see a little bit more Obi Toppin than we were at times last season. Naismith, super inconsistent, but he is projected to start, get over 30 minutes. He does have a bit of a ceiling. But man, I don't know who I trust here. I like Matherin. I think more than anything, he's going to have to play. I know Carlisle keeps a short leash on him for his defense, but he's going to have to do some scoring. I like Nemhard. Those are the two that I'm getting heavy exposure to. I'd love to get some Siakam, but since I'm paying up for so much Joker and SGA, I don't know that I'm going to be able to. Jayhawk, same as OKC. Give me your kind of lay of the land for these Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, so my initial look here at Indiana was I was looking at what ball handlers do they have here because they have no guards, right? So Matherin and Nimhard, I think both of them look great. They're going to need to score for them tonight. So those two, like you mentioned, I love. And then Siakam's fine. I'm kind of around the field here, 32% projected. I think that's a fine ownership there. I'm just kind of whatever with him. And then I love the J Huff shot, man. He reminds me of the Gary Payton of 2 slates ago. 3,400. He does unlock so much. I think he looks great even at 17 minutes.
Yeah, the tricky thing with Huff, I mean, he's kind of unplayable on FanDuel center only. On DK, where you could play the two centers, I think he's certainly interesting there. Jackson, though, also center only. So it's like for the discount, I'd rather just play Huff, I think, if I'm choosing between the two. Both seem to be pretty low owned. A few questions here I'll get up on the screen. Best way to get different in a single entry with 9,900 entries. So I'll say this. On a two-game slate, it's tougher than it is on a one-gamer, right? So if we look at the slate as a whole, sort by ownership, I mean, if you have anything owned that isn't on this first page, you're already going to be different. But in a contest that's 1,000 entries or smaller, I don't think you need to get too weird with it, right? I think you can kind of build chalky, kind of build the logical lineup in terms of value, OF index, all that good stuff, and then just make one or two pivots. I think we're going to see a few guys we'll talk about later, like our favorite GPV plays, but getting to someone like Huff alone is going to make you different. Maybe getting to Naismith and not getting to the chalkier Mathurin or something like that. You don't need to make a ton of pivots. You don't want to get too weird with it. Again, you need the lineup to still outscore the others. So while getting different is always important in DFS, the smaller the contest, the less important it is. Just keep that in mind. You don't want to be totally chalky on a two-game slate. It is a little bit difficult, though. And again, two gamers, I'm not really a fan of leaving much salary on the table. Jayhawk, any additional thoughts on that question? I do think it's a good kind of point of conversation, obviously, strategy going into these two gamers.
Yeah, to kind of build off what you said, I think in a small field like that, you pretty much want to play most of the chalk, get different, maybe in one spot you don't like, and you don't need to get too crazy because it's not a high, like a lot of people in the contest, so you don't need to get too crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you don't want to get too, it's a cliche at this point, but too cute is what people say, right? You don't want to get too weird with it. Like, you're not going to hope that Tony Bradley suddenly gets minutes, even though we're not projecting him for any. Like, you want to get a little off the obvious path, but not too out there. Jose, Cason Wallace is indeed out. I can't confirm that. Good question from LJ here. Would you play both Wiggins and Mitchell? Absolutely. That rotation's very short. Shout out to ZH here, saying my boy Nick. I don't know which one he's talking to. We got a bunch of Nicks here. Kuminga. We'll talk about GSW in a little bit. I do like him again as long as he's starting. Mitchell or Brown? And again, these either or questions, we kind of like to wait till we do the whole team by team breakdown. It's definitely Mitchell for me right now. Jayhawk, how about you?
Yeah, Mitchell by however many fantasy points, a lot.
Right. My boy Jeff here asking about Walker. This is not someone who was really on my radar. He's not going to get many minutes at center. I don't think. If anything, he's going to be coming in behind Toppin and Siakam. We have him for 11 minutes. Jeff, it's a bit of a reach, man. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think he's going to be playing much at the 5. OKC's huge. Like, if this was a small team that we're playing against, then maybe. But honestly, Toppin is kind of their small ball center. Siakam would probably get minutes at the 5 before him. We've seen some big games out of Walker preseason, things like that. I would rank him ahead of Tony Bradley. I'll say that, but no love for me, really. Any for you, Jayhawk?
Yeah, I looked at him as well. I just think it's kind of too slim on this two-gamer. I think I'd almost rather play Barnheiser for 3K at power forward.
Okay. LJ saying it's easy to get Jokic, and it's funny. When I was on stream, I was like, man, it's tough to fit both. And then we got so many comments like, I'm doing it. So I had to go ahead and build after the fact. So we help you guys out. You help us out as well. Anybody named Jayhawk must be a very sharp guy. Imagining that's a fellow or a Kansas alum there. Jose, no way to get Jokic and SGA. There might be, Jose. We'll mess around with it. We'll have some time. We'll sit saying, can we rank top 4 OKC on FanDuel? I mean, it's pretty easy for me. It's SGA 1. It's Wiggins 2, Mitchell 3, Chet 4. I think Hartenstein's ceiling is better than those value plays, obviously, but in terms of point per dollar, that's probably where I'm at. How are you ranking the OKC guys, Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Wiggins 1, SGA 2. Let's see, AJ Mitchell 3, and then either Shet or Hartenstein 4.
That makes sense, man. And I do want to bring this up. If the model's showing us something, usually we got to listen, right? Jalen Williams with the eye. Other Jalen's out tonight. Only 3,200 on DK, popping as the third best value for OKC, ahead of both AJ and Aaron Wiggins. That's a little bit scary in my opinion, but at the same time, he's going to be low owned. If you're looking to get different instead of playing someone like Walker, I think Jalen Williams kind of fits that mold. Probably worth considering. Like when all else fails, trust the model. What else we got going here, guys? Appreciate all the comments, man. It makes the show easy. When we have a 12 gamer like I do tomorrow, I think I'm on with Smitty. Not going to be able to take them all. So how do you do it today? Kaminga or Gordon? That's Kaminga if he starts for me. You got an answer for that one, Jayhawk. We still got to break down that game though.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kaminga for me as well.
Yeah. Let's see here. Luke, FanDuel cash ownership. I mean, ownership in cash is tough. You can kind of gauge it compared to tournaments, and it's usually the same order. It's just on a greater scale. I mean, we have, let's see, I'll give you the top 5 or 6. Mathurin, SGA, Jokic, Curry, Butler are the highest owned plays. I don't think you can fit all of that in one lineup. So we sort by value. Mathurin's definitely going to be chalky. I would probably have Jokic over Hartenstein. I think most lineups will. But Nemhard's another one who's going to be up there. Siakam. But again, our ownership model is more so geared towards large field contests. But obviously, if you're seeing the plays that rate well in value and index and are high owned, usually you can kind of see where people are going in cash. Is playing Gary Payton too cute in a single entry? No, Brian. Steve Kerr hates a lot of the guys on his team, it seems, like guys like Trace Jackson Davis. We've seen this with Buddy Hield even at times. Like guys get on his bad side for whatever reason. He loves Gary Payton. Payton does a lot. He actually closed, I think, that game. So while he wasn't super productive, and we can't really project him for a ton of minutes, I like Payton tonight as a pivot off some of the OKC value. Andrew Black, thoughts on old Al? Let's, I guess, use this as the segue to get into the Golden State and Denver game here, and then we'll continue to take on more of these questions. But Jayhawk, kind of a weird way to start the breakdown of this game, right? But against Jokic, do you think maybe he starts and we see Kaminga go back to the bench, or do they kind of keep it with Kaminga and Green there? And I guess, what are your thoughts on old Al here as I pull up Golden State in the model?
Yeah, I'm not too high on Al tonight as a whole. I just think, assuming he does come off the bench once again, it's just his minutes have been kind of capped around 20. I'm just not sure we really have the upside for his for DFS purposes tonight. So I'm not too high. How about you?
Yeah, if he starts, I wouldn't be surprised just because his defense could be valuable against Jokic. Not to the point that I wouldn't be playing Jokic, but the Warriors need to try to do what they can to slow him down. If he starts, I don't mind it. I could see him maybe coming in over-owned, though. Again, he's center only on DK. It would be tough to get to. On FanDuel, if he starts at 4,100, this 12% projected ownership is going to steam in a big way. So I'd say keep an eye on it. If he comes off the bench, I don't think we can project him over 22 minutes. But if he's starting, that kind of tells me Kerr wants him to play some defense here. He's actually had some big games against Jokic for Boston in the past. I'd have to look in to see if KP was in those games or not, though. Obviously, a big bump in his usage without Porzingis. Obviously, both these guys on new teams now. But yeah, I'd say if he starts, and that's kind of a cop-out answer. But let's go ahead and kind of look at the injury report here for Golden State, right? We got no DeAnthony Melton again, no Moses Moody, and no Alex Tui. So Moody and Melton being out kind of go back to the Gary Payton question for Brian C. I think that is part of the reason we're going to like Payton. We're only projecting him for 12 minutes, which to me is kind of low. I think we see him closer to 20. If Horford starts, maybe it is closer to the 12 where we have him right now, but he's not someone I'm ever really afraid to mix in. I will say we have enough value from OKC and the Pacers tonight that he's not as much of a priority for me on this 2-game slate as he was the other day. But yeah, we got to keep it on the starting lineup. It was Kaminga last time against Jokic. I wouldn't be surprised to see him switch it up. Curry, a little bit lower owned than the other pay-ups. Butler's price is simply too low. They had who was on in that first game? I mean, the defense wasn't really working at all on Jimmy. I think Denver's going to do a bit better of a job, but he looked awesome in that game one. He seems to be locked in. Really, really, really like Butler over on DK at 7,400. He's fine on FanDuel as well. Power forward and small forward eligibility, reasonably priced, looks good in the model, checks a lot of boxes. Kaminga for me, if he starts, Pods for me is fine, kind of as the last piece in. There's a lot of guys I like ahead of him in that price range, though. And then Draymond actually played more minutes than I think we were expecting. So I'm fine getting to him as well. These secondary guys like Hield, not really interested. Horford, like I said, only if he starts. Peyton, as a last piece in, is fine if you're looking to go stars and scrubs. Jayhawk, give me your overview of these Golden State Warriors on this 2-game slate.
Yeah, so I think most of the fields, including me, probably flocks to the forwards here. Butler and Kuminga, assuming Kuminga does start here. Both of them probably too cheap in this matchup. So those are the guys I looked at first. I think they're both great in cash games or tournaments. And then Steph Curry, I think we need to talk about him because coming off a really bad game last game, this could be a get-right spot. Low ownership, 31% on a 2-gamer. Could see a potential ceiling game here for Curry. What are your thoughts here on Curry? And then I guess I didn't ask about Pods either. Do you like Pods tonight? Or what's your take?
I mean, Pods is tricky for me. I don't mind him. This is the type of matchup where maybe he goes a little bit overlooked, could actually do well. On FanDuel, he's very, very popular, 45% owned. I like him a little bit more on a DK as a pivot. Then with the Curry stuff, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to fit one of Joker or SGA. I think a lot of people are going to find a way to fit both, in which case Curry's ownership could be lower than we're projecting it right now. I don't mind him as a pivot, but it is tough to get real leverage on these 2-game slates, right? Like, he's still 30% on DK. He's still almost 50% on FanDuel. So I like him. I think he is a ceiling, but if I'm only playing a lineup or two, I don't think I'm necessarily getting to him. I would try to come in around where we're projecting him at 30 and 40% respectively, because I do think that number could come down as people start to jam Jokic and SGA. But yeah, man, we know who Curry is. He's always got that ceiling, and coming off a bad shooting game, he certainly has bounce back potential. It's just he's kind of priced where he should be for his median. So you're always running the risk of a low floor with him, but the upside's definitely there. And on a 2-gamer, if he was lower owned, I'd have more interest. It's just I don't know that there's a ton of leverage where we have him just 3% less than SGA right now and just 1% less than SGA on FanDuel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think like on paper, definitely a medium play. I agree. It doesn't pop up the page for sure.
Right, and let me use this as an opportunity, right, to kind of plug what we got behind the paywall. Guys, I'm not going to hit refresh during this video unless we get some major news, but these ownership projections will continue to update up and even through lock. We're going to continue to see changes in projections and everything like that as some of these lineups come out, et cetera, as we see movement on the Vegas lines. Kind of a funny day with Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups. But yeah, I saw someone comment in the Discord. It was a tweet, I think. These guys are really going to try to do what they're supposed to tonight with the FBI breathing down their backs, so maybe we don't see anyone sell. But yeah, man, I don't mind getting to a little Curry. But again, I do want to update the model a few times before lock just to see if that ownership comes down, in which case I would have a bit more incentive to get to him. Before we go to the chat here, comments, guys, always appreciate it. Let's talk through Denver, right? I'm not seeing any Denver injury news right now. Feel free to keep me honest on that. What we do need to keep in mind, no more Michael Porter Jr. He is now with my Brooklyn Nets. A bit of a disappointment last night. Cam Johnson, though, probably going to get the start here. He was traded for him. That's also got a first-round pick in that deal. But what else has Denver done in the offseason? They got Brown here. They got Joval now as the backup center. Tim Hardaway Jr., maybe going to provide some scoring off the bench. More than anything, though, I think the lack of MPJ could be a bit of a boost to secondary guys like Gordon and Christian Brown. I'm seeing a lot of Christian Brown in my initial builds. I really like the price on DK, and I really like the ownership. 27% feels too low for me, especially when you consider the fact you could play him at guard or forward. It just makes maneuverability easy. If you have Kuminga in and he ends up ruled out, it's a very easy pivot. Again, I do think there's a world, and I'm not saying this is what I expect, but there's a world where Steve Kerr changes things up, and we see Horford here lining up against Jokic. So Christian Brown, to me, is someone I'm super interested in. Obviously, Jokic is Jokic, best play on the slate. Going to have him as much as I can, even ahead of SGA, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, what we do see on some of these slates is Jamal Murray tends to go overlooked. Just 7K on DK. We have him for nearly 35 minutes. I think he's someone like a Curry who you want to pivot to. And I think, honestly, he's a little bit more appealing to me right now because he is a bit cheaper. Fine getting to some Gordon. I'm not playing any Cam Johnson at this price. He's going to have to settle in. I think he's just going to kind of be the 3-and-D guy hanging out on the wing. He'll have big games, but I think that price is going to come down. And then Bruce Brown off the bench isn't insane, but not really involved on the offensive end. Tim Hardaway Jr., if you feel like it, but we have so much other value. I don't think I get there. Jayhawk, give me your Denver overview here.
Yeah, man. I think Denver, and I think the slate starts with Jokic and Murray here. I think both of them are just too cheap. I think we'll see both these guys at least hit almost 1,000 increase here by midseason in their prices. So I love both these guys up top, obviously. And then I think Christian Brown, you guys know that's my boy. 27% coming off a huge contract he just signed a couple days ago. He's been really working in the offseason. I think he looks great at his ownership, especially if we're going to get a chalky Kuminga tonight, like you mentioned. Could be a great pivot there and a great game environment.
Yeah, David, who's our favorite underpriced player tonight? To me, that's actually Brown on DK, I think. Jayhawk, do you have one? And we could start to do kind of the slate overview questions now that we've been through each of these games. But it's sorted by value. I mean, we got Mathurin up there as chalk. You got anyone who's standing out to you as kind of underpriced?
I mean, obviously, or the obvious one would be Aaron Wiggins. But other than Wiggins, let's say, let's go off the board here. Let's see. I'm going to say Jamal Murray. 7K, I think is just too cheap for him.
I like it. Sean here getting to Barn, Walker, Huff, Jay. Seems good. That's how you solo ship if any get 20 plus. Maybe more than one, but I don't hate it, man. Again, stars and scrubs could work. Definitely Gary Payton for me, Brian over Walker. How about you, Jayhawk? I imagine it's the same.
Yeah, definitely Payton. His minutes should be way more secure too.
We got Barry here. Appreciate you, man, with theory. India's fresher body, so I think they push the pace using 8-9 player rotation. I mean, I hope so. It's also Rick Carlisle. I mean, credit to him. He really carried that team through the playoffs. Great coach. Say what you will about him as far as DFS goes. Definitely annoying to project his rotations. But he's going to play the matchups. He's going to do what he needs to do to kind of maximize the talent he has. Sometimes that means going a little bit deeper into the bench. If it is an 8-man rotation, I don't know that we see much Walker. If it goes beyond that, maybe we do. But yeah, they are fresh, so definitely keep that in mind. Yeah, Unicorn. Wiggins had huge games in garbage time. They often let him play the fourth quarter, and if he's going to start, I wonder if they still give him that run this season. We're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that. I do know to play Nick Westbrook-Ikini. Waddle gets ruled out Sunday. Power, mixing up the sports here, but hey, we got a lot of great NFL content here at Occupy. Brian here with a good question. Favorite, sub 4K player. I'm guessing it's for DK, but you can go ahead and give your answer for both, Jay, huh?
Yeah, sub 4K, definitely, once again, Aaron Wiggins. Another guy, let's see here. Who's sub 4K?
He's just over 4K, isn't he? Yeah, he's 4,200. So Mitchell, I guess, for me.
Yeah, Mitchell. Yeah, maybe Dort, but I like Mitchell more.
Yeah, I don't mind Dort. And the thing about Dort is he's usually lower owned than the other value, but there are games where he'll just take 8 threes out of nowhere. Like it happens once every like 4 or 5. So not the likeliest outcome, but certainly something we could see. Andrew Black asking about Jonas Valanciunas. I don't love him here necessarily. I think it would take Jokic foul trouble. If you're playing Joval, I think you want to do it in lineups without Jokic, and you almost have to hope something goes wrong for Joker. Obviously, we don't want to wish that on him, but it's more of a large field play for me, man. I just don't think they're going to be on the floor much together at all. And obviously, if Jokic is playing 35-plus minutes, it's just not a ton of upside for him. Any love for Joval for you, Jayhawk? Like I said, I don't mind it if you're playing 150. You got a few lineups without Joker, maybe get him in there for some value, but otherwise, not really something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think obviously if Jokic was out, this would be a different question, but I just don't really see him running Joval and Jokic together much tonight, so probably not for me.
Is it fine to play SGA, Mitchell, Wiggins in the same lineup? Connor, yep, absolutely. They're all underpriced. I mean, SGA's price where it should be. The other two are so cheap, though, with other guys out. I don't think you have to worry about it. Jayhawk, I assume you agree?
Let's see. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Brian here. If I was in the field tonight, what position would I qualify for and what would your salary be? So I'm 6'1", and I'm not athletic at all. I guess I would have to be a point guard. I'd be a backup. I'd be probably 3K flat on DK, even price on FanDuel. Unfortunately, Brian answered that question. On a 20-minute limit, confirming coming off the bench per underdog. Oh, you're talking about Joval, I'm guessing, Sean. Horford only good if he starts. Prince, I mean, he could come off the bench, and if he's doing well defensively, he could see a bit of extra run. I just think he's way, way down the list for us in terms of we're ranking value. Like, we have him capped around 20 minutes, but if there was ever a game where he should see more run, it's here. I just don't think it's something we could bank on. So if you want to mix him in, it's fine. It's just proceed with some caution. Do we like Shepherd for value? Shepherd's not someone we talked about much. I do think he's worth talking about a little bit here. We saw him have some big games last year. I mean, if Mathurin or Nemhard are struggling, maybe he gets some extended run. I don't know. I wasn't getting there initially. I don't think it's crazy, though, but you probably want to leave some of those other chalky indie guys out, similar to what we were saying with Joval, but on more of an aggressive scale, right? Like, if they struggle, maybe Shepherd gets going. Maybe he works his way into some extra minutes. It's a no for me, but I'm someone who plays like 4 or 5 single entry lineups. Any interest in Ben Shepherd for you tonight, Jayhawk?
Yeah, so I think Shepard would probably be, if I wasn't getting to either Matherin or Nemhard, like you mentioned, he would step in. So probably I would get to him. But yeah, like I said, if I didn't play those two, but I'm not getting much of him at all tonight.
Yeah, it's not insane, Pablo. He actually rates okay in the model. We have him pushing 20 minutes, so there is a world where he's viable, but it's just not the most likely. My goodness, that's a lot of men math with a bunch of other players around him who project similar. Good point, DQ. I mean, 51% on FanDuel does feel heavy for him. Mathurin is scoring dependent. Like, he needs to shoot. He needs to score to hit value. I think he's going to be aggressive here. But yeah, I think fading Mathurin, maybe going to Siakam and hoping he kind of absorbs most of the usage, or playing Siakam with Nemhard, fading Mathurin is a good way to get a little bit different in tournaments if you don't want to go to Ben. But again, I do think he has crazy upside for his price. Here we go. Horford will come off the bench again Thursday per Coach Kerr. So yeah, that kind of answers that. Brian Sagas, Lee Sands on a different channel. Braun or Mathurin straight up. Man, in tournaments, in cash game, small field stuff, I think it has to be Mathurin. I think I like the pivot to Brown in tournaments, if I'm being completely honest, as a way to get a little bit different. There's huge leverage on him over on FanDuel, half the ownership, 100 less. I'll go Brown in tournaments. Doesn't feel great, though. I would try to get to Siakam in those builds. Jayhawk, how about you?
Yeah, I'll pretty much tail you here. I think Matherin in cash games or single low dollar stuff, I would get Matherin. But if you're playing tournaments, I like getting the CB.
Yeah, good call on that, Brian. That's a very logical way to get different. Horford on a 20-minute limit, so yeah, not much of him at all now. It kind of takes him out of conversation. Furphy for value. So I guess we're talking about Shepherd. We might as well bring up this guy as well. Johnny Furphy. I don't know. It's a no for me. This kid, he's going to shoot a little bit if he sees the floor. Do we even have him for minutes, though? Like, I know Jeff asked about Walker earlier. I mean, I actually think I prefer Walker, but yeah, it's a no for me. Any Johnny F for you there, Jayhawk?
Yeah, so I think he definitely gets minutes tonight. I think he should be in the rotation, but in terms of DFS, it's kind of like Jarris Walker. He's kind of slim for minutes and production.
Yeah, I'm imagining the entire teams were out last year. He did have 2 games in April over 30 fantasy points, though. So he does have a ceiling. I just think he's kind of buried in this rotation. If we had him closer to 20 minutes, I'd have a bit more interest. Bruce Brown's minute projection for Jose, we are looking at just 18. I could see that getting a little bit higher, Jose, especially if he's playing well. Kind of a wait and see on that rotation, though. Nemhard, I'm with you, Jason. I like him. Better roster. I like Kuminga much more, Jose, just because Hield's so scoring dependent. Jayhawk, do you have a preference between Kuminga or Hield? Last minute.
Definitely Kuminga, yeah.
David, 2-game slate. Are there any slate sizes you'd avoid? What's your optimal slate size? So I am a bit of a degenerate. I don't avoid any slates. I think there's an argument to be made for a while. The big slates are good. The small ones are good. 13 games is a little bit too much. 2 games is a little bit too few. I like 5, 6, 7 range. That's my favorite. I will say these small slates, cash games are very, very difficult. I'd rather play tournaments. Larger slates, I actually like cash games more because you can find a ton of value and really jam in studs. But feel free to just wrap on this question here, Jayhawk. Any thoughts on David S.'s comment here about this 2-gamer?
Yeah, like 6 to 7 games, like you mentioned, are my favorite. I think we can like nail those slates, but anything above 12 games for me there's so much like volatility that it's kind of difficult to build the complete optimal. And then 2 gamers are definitely hard as well, for sure.
Yeah. 2 games are tough. I mean, we had a good one on opening night, but thin margin for error. And again, if that game doesn't go to double OT, the Houston OKC game, I don't think I had a very good lineup. So things worked out. I'm going to answer this question quickly for you, Brian. Then we are going to do these dummy builds. I think we got time for both sites.
Yeah.
Definitely for DK. So Kaminga looking like 34 on DK, 40 on FanDuel. Again, I haven't refreshed in a bit. Get by that paywall if you want to see the update. It probably hasn't changed much, though. Mitchell, 37, 32, respectively. So hope that helps you out, Brian. Appreciate you being here, as always. But let's get into this, man. I think Jokic is the priority, right? Do we want to try to jam the two studs and see, or do we want to go a little bit more balanced?
We can try to do both. We could try to see if we can sneak in two builds here. One without SGA, one with SGA maybe.
Yeah, let's do that. I think Jokic is going to be a priority either way. Why is
Yeah.
it putting him at utility? This is annoying. Okay, there we go. So let's start this, and we're left with these 600 per player remaining. Obviously, we got to jam in these value plays for OKC. That's going to be Wiggins. That's going to be Mitchell. Let's see what else we got going here. We got to stay cheap, man. I don't mind Dort. We like Christian Brown. Let's get him in there. Small forward. I'm sorry about shooting it over you. We're just coming up on time. But obviously, feel free to call me out if you see anything weird. Wiggins is shooting guard only. That's obnoxious. Mitchell, point guard only. Yeah, small forward's thinner than some of these other spots. I don't know if Brown's shooting guard only. What are we doing here, DK? Who do you like at small forward, man? We're probably gonna need a punt.
Yeah, isn't Wiggins forward eligible too? Maybe he's just guard.
Yeah, maybe DK just shows their main position, but you're right. Yeah. So let's go back. Pull that small forward. There we go. Okay. 49 per power forward. I mean, we're looking at guys like Naismith, Kuminga. Again, if we go that expensive, we're going to have to get really, really cheap.
We could,
and yeah, guys, as we do this thought exercise, you're seeing it's kind of hard to build if you're getting both of these guys in there. I think more will have one or the other, and then have someone like, I don't know, Butler or Chad or something like that. But who would you want to go power forward here?
we could go a little bit off the page here. If you wanted to go like a true punt, we could maybe go Barnheiser 3K at power forward. Or yeah. If you wanted to get like
I mean, I almost want to come back to it because, like, I would rather go to someone like Huff, who's like 34, right?
I like that, yeah. That's all.
And that gives us a little bit more salary. So now we're in like the Kuminga range. Now we can get like a top end. I think this is a little bit better. Like, I don't know, or even like Naismith and Gordon. Like something like this feels a little safer. But yeah, to your point, man, I didn't want to completely just like blow over Barnheiser there. I just think it's a little bit tougher. But yeah, if you go with him, obviously you could upgrade one of these guys to Kuminga. I don't think that's crazy. Let's see what else we got going here. If we pull Huff, we pull Gordon, let's get rid of some of these grosser plays, right? And then we go ahead and pull SGA. I think getting Jimmy Butler is going to be a priority for me. Now we're kind of in a bit more balanced range. Who do you like at point guard, kind of mid to low range? I guess we got Nemhard. We didn't have Mathurin in that last lineup, which is probably a mistake.
Yeah, either one of those is fine. Both are.
Yeah, let's get Nemhard here since we need a point guard. Forward, I mean, we could also go Mathurin, but just to kind of wrap this up, Chet doesn't fit, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's easier to build tonight without jamming the two studs. You need a lot of value to work out, but it is possible. But you're kind of stuck in this range. You have to downgrade one of these guys, but it is doable. Yeah, Jose Williams in utility. That's another good one. Prince, we'll do the FanDuel real quick for you. Why not? Let's go Jokic SGA again just to see what the hell it looks like. Now we're going to need all that OKC value. It's almost like you just scroll all the way to the bottom. Let's see here. Wiggins. We want Mitchell. Just feel free to throw some names at me, man, that are underpriced.
Let's go Mathurin. I think he's got to go to it.
Definitely.
Let's see.
Power forwards. Wiggins could also be power forward on FanDuel. That's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah, let's do that. And then we can go Christian Brown, maybe at small forward. He fits in.
Yeah, we got shooting guard or small forward Brown. We could go Kuminga now that we know he's starting. 5,500 left for two positions. I mean, Dort's fine, Naismith's fine. Um, what else do we got? I mean, Wiggins. You guys kind of see where we're at. I think we're in a decent little range here. But yeah, it's easier on FanDuel to fit the two studs. I actually think it's probably the way to go on FanDuel. On DK, I kind of like going with one or the other, but again, if a few of these value plays pop off, the optimal does probably feature those two expensive guys, even if they're not hitting their own ceiling. So just keep that in mind. Moving guys who can play multiple positions is a good way to rearrange and get different. Definitely. For sure, Brian. I mean, some slates, not this one where we have Jokic, but playing guys with forward center eligibility, playing less or more centers is usually a funny way to go. I like to get as many centers as possible. Most people think that way. Unicorn shout out top, and just for you, man, we'll throw him in here. And then we're left with, I don't know. We could move Brown. We got some options. Like, I don't know. I don't love Cam Johnson, but if we get Brown at small forward, shooting guard, Nemhard. I mean, we're leaving salary on the table with Jokic and SGA. So, Powers ain't doesn't mind Peyton Watson. I mean, this is a guy who has gotten minutes. He has been part of that rotation. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits here with Bruce Brown and Cam Johnson in the picture. But I don't mind it, man. It's definitely worth mentioning him at least. But yeah, I think that's about it. Jayhawk, any last thoughts? Tomorrow I'm going to be back. I think with Smitty, we got a huge slate. So enjoy getting to all you guys while we can. Tomorrow's going to be a lot more difficult, but definitely tune in at the same time. I know Brian has a video out already for the showdown slate tonight. We got Vikings Chargers. I know I am doing a UFC video, I think maybe Friday night since the card's Saturday morning. We got a pay-per-view this weekend. We did tons going on here right now, man. And I'll let you transition to your last words with a question. Would you do SGA, Curry, and Murray on FanDuel? Yeah, I don't see why not, Matt. You got to go value at center. Jayhawk, any thoughts on that, and just kind of wrap things up and we could get out of here?
Yeah, I think that's totally viable. I mean, I like all three of those guys a ton tonight, so totally fine with that.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate you all. Once again, like, subscribe, check out the links in the description below. I'm Nick Marro with Jayhawk. Appreciate you guys. Let's crush it tonight. Have fun and good luck.
Good luck, everyone. Go Nuggets. I'm just kidding.